Everything was looking like sunshine and rainbows and cupcakes and trans flags for Emilia Perez star Karla Gascon until some problematic tweets resurfaced. And now this actor, the first openly transgender actor to get nominated for an Oscar, by the way, has been unequivocally shunned by the industry in the middle of Oscar season, no less. Netflix is now distancing itself from Karla Gascon in an effort to salvage the film's Oscar prospects. In case you missed it, these offensive tweets were mainly about Islam and race and immigration. There was one that praised Hitler, and I wouldn't even say that if it weren't true. You know that. Like, it wasn't... I know it was taken out of context, but it was literally a tweet saying something flattering about Hitler. And all of these tweets came from not a decade ago, but from 2020 or later. So now, Karla Gascon is expected to travel from Spain to Los Angeles during the critical second phase of the Oscars campaign for Netflix's Emilia Perez.
So weird to think about how we dunk on award shows every year. Like, look at these losers thinking they matter, but they really matter to them.
They do.
Like, they go on whole press tours just to push to win these stupid awards that nobody actually cares about.
Yeah.
But it does affect their ability to make money in the future. It affects their favorability when it comes to, Netflix wants to be able to sell advertising. So having movies that have won Oscars is a big deal. Remember, there was a time when the Oscars shunned streaming altogether and wouldn't consider them for anything.
I guess think of it like Yelp reviews for restaurants.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
You're right, and it shows that this is all pay to play. They say the planned itinerary included major industry events such as the AFI Awards Luncheon, the Critics' Choice Awards, the Directors Guild of America Awards, the Producers Guild of America Awards, and the Santa Barbara International Film Festival. However, now Karla Gascon is no longer expected to attend any of them. Gascon and Emilia Perez co-star Zoe Saldana share the same PR firm, the Lead Company. Netflix and that PR agency have stopped communicating directly with Karla Gascon and are now only communicating through Gascon's United Talent Agency rep, Jeremy Barber.
He's got his work cut out for him.
Definitely. Netflix is no longer covering Gascon's travel expenses to various award shows or for her styling for any appearances at these events. It would now fall on Gascon to pay for everything from flights to accommodations. The actress was a relative unknown when she got the life-changing title role in Emilia Perez, which meant that she was paid just over $100,000 for her role in the film. I don't know how long it took them to film Emilia Perez altogether, but $100,000, it's good salary for a year, but also quite low when you compare it to other people that are recognizable names in the industry, like Selena Gomez. I'm sure Selena Gomez, another co-star in this movie, was paid far more than that.
Yeah.
As well as Zoe Saldana. The film's title, as well as any images of Gascon, have been scrubbed from much of the campaign material.
If you want, just as a comparison, so they made a Star Trek Section 31 movie with Michelle Yeoh, and she made $12 million for that. So
yeah. I mean, I know that 100,000 is nothing to scoff at. However, when you compare it to the industry at large, it's actually not that much, especially if it took multiple years to actually get this filmed and edited. That's a long time. And now that it's come out, you thought this is like a rising star in the industry, and that's been completely crippled. So now the marketing prominently features Zoe Saldana and co-stars Selena Gomez, Adriana Paz, neither of whom were nominated.
I mean, Zoe Saldana is a big name. Selena Gomez is a big name, even if not nominated for it. What's interesting, I also think, is that one of the things about Netflix is they do like to work with the same people on a regular basis. That does happen.
Zoe Saldana, one of them?
She was in, was that her in the Adam Project? I can't remember. But the point being that they'll come back to work with them more than one time. This eliminates this actor who they really, really would have loved to bring back because it's a beneficial identity group to promote. Now that's gone. There's they invested a lot of money. Not just, remember, it's not just the $104,000 they made for the salary. It's the flights to do premieres. It's all of the hotels. It's all of this money that's invested to bring forward a name for somebody that can benefit them down the line.
Right. Netflix is now trying to minimize Gascon's contributions to Emilia Perez so that the controversy around her past remarks won't overshadow the film or the work of her co-stars and collaborators. And now the film's official For Your Consideration page features a prominent photo of Zoe Saldana, but 0 images of Karla Gascon. Do you have the For Your Consideration up on there?
All right. Hold on.
I want to show it because it's just so funny that you took the protagonist of the movie out of all the materials and barely mention that this person exists. So there you can see it. One awards consultant told Variety, "It's hard to imagine a campaign focus that excludes the titular character while still aiming to bring home the gold." They are still nominated for 13 Oscars for this movie.
I can't make a comparison to award shows, but Netflix has been through this before. If you guys remember, when House of Cards came out, it was nothing but Kevin Spacey on the front of all of their advertising because at that time, getting a star the size of Kevin Spacey to do a streaming show was actually a big deal. But when Kevin Spacey was then canceled because of all of the allegations, suddenly Robin Wright was on the cover of every single thing because they still did another season without Kevin Spacey. But that doesn't matter because whether it's the show's main header thumbnail or the advertising on the Netflix website, all of that has to promote the show in some way. And they had to move away from Kevin Spacey, despite the fact that he was the star. I believe it was 6 seasons in total, but he was the star of the first 5. And then Robin Wright was the one in charge for the last season. But they had to get away from it. They suddenly couldn't put his pictures on any of the advertising. I don't know if it's still that way because I haven't had Netflix in a while, but as long as I can remember, I was like, they don't really use his picture to advertise anymore. They'd use random monuments in DC or Robin Wright.
Well, the Kevin Spacey allegations kind of faded over time and lost the collective consciousness, but this one is still fresh. And you would have thought that the trans identity would be a perfect parachute for this fall.
Yeah,
but
you would.
It's not happening. In an Instagram post, Karla Gascon addressed the situation again. You gotta stop addressing the situation.
Do you think it's possible that if this had happened 2 years ago, we'd be looking at a very different story?
Yes.
You think the tweets wouldn't have mattered as much 2 years ago?
Well,
I mean,
now that I think about it, I'm not sure because I think the trans identity would have been a better armor back then. However, tweets about George Floyd in 2022, whatever it may be, that's a far more sensitive subject. So I'm not actually sure about that. Yeah. But in a follow-up Instagram post after the official apology, Karla Gascon said, "They want to subject me to cancel culture. I ask the Hollywood experts, the journalists who know me and have followed my career, how can I move forward? You can't move forward. This is the industry you chose to work in. You knew what you were getting into, right?
Yeah.
And you also, ironically, wanted to benefit from a system that you disagreed with in principle. You're a hypocrite." Now, there are a few weeks left before Oscar voting ends, and they interviewed some anonymous Oscar voters, members of the Academy, for this piece.
I'm picturing they're all in silhouette with voice changers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Whoa.
Anonymous Oscar voters say that despite Gascon's apologies and pleas, they're moving on from her and the film that put her on their radar. One said, "Damn, I almost felt sorry for her at first, but now I'm like, F that." Another predicted that there would be repercussions for the film and expressed sympathy for Zoe Saldana. "I think it's going to have a huge effect. It left a bad taste in people's mouths. People are allowed to have their opinions, but I don't want to live in a world where a racist and a bigot is highlighted and rewarded. I was going to vote for her because I really did think she was extraordinary. But how could I now? I hope it doesn't affect Zoe Saldana. It really shouldn't. I don't think people are that stupid. So this Oscar voter is outright admitting that their vote has nothing to do with merit and everything to do with politics.
The art doesn't matter. That's why I said all award shows should just stop being about the art. The art should get them to the award show, and after that, skills competitions, beer pong. Have them play beer pong tournaments to win awards. I would be okay with that.
What t-shirt?
Yeah, that's perfect. And you said that they're now calling Karla Sofia Gascon the Donald Trump of the award season.
New headline. Karla Sofia Gascon's off-the-rails reaction to Twitter controversy has made her the Donald Trump of Oscar season. So
she's trying to invade Gaza too?
I don't know what's going on. A viewer in a generous frame of mind can see in the mere fact of Emilia Perez's transition and the project she puts her cartel-obtained resources toward afterwards, on top of Gascon's presence as a path-breaking trans Oscar nominee, as a rebuke to the politics of prejudice emanating from President Donald Trump. Yeah. But now they are in league with each other because they're both Islamophobic, racist bigots.
Because Donald Trump is going to make it the Gaza Strip Mall.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Here were a couple of interesting takes I saw on Twitter from leftists.
Okay.
They think that Karla Gascon is getting unfairly targeted for these tweets based on being trans. This person said, the backlash against Karla Gascon is justified, but it is telling how fast Hollywood shunned a trans woman while male abusers keep getting jobs and awards. Keep that same energy for cis straight men.
Well, they did. They got rid of Armie Hammer based on speculation and lame in lame text flirting.
Well, yeah, I guess that is true, isn't it?
Well, okay, so that's not necessarily true. There was actual assault allegations against him, if I remember correctly.
True,
but nobody cared about it because everyone would talk about how he fantasized about being a cannibal.
Yeah, the text messages were more of the distraction and all that. But Armie Hammer is getting work again.
Yes, he is.
So he's doing just fine. I'm sure that Karla Gascon will be just fine in the long run, but not in the short term. This is going to hurt all of the people who were involved in this project. And this person followed up saying the director of Emilia Perez is just one example. That MF straight up called Spanish the language for poor and migrants. That same director, Jacques Audiard, responded to criticism recently about how the film represents Mexico, saying, what shocked me is that either people haven't seen the film properly or they haven't seen it at all and are acting in bad faith.
Yeah.
The representation of the cartels in the film is thematic. Opera has psychological limitations. It seems I'm being attacked in the court of realism, while I've never claimed that I wanted to make realistic work.
It's funny because this is actually a big bone of contention sometimes. One of my favorite memes of all time is like when you wake up in the morning in Mexico and it's just
yellow.
Just sepia tone.
Yeah.
But look, go back and rewatch a movie like Sicario or even the sequel to like Sicario 2. And it's got a very, very brutal depiction of cartels. And I do remember, however minuscule it was, there were people who did at least comment on like, it's not nice to showcase these groups like this. It's like, what do you want people to do? Cartels are a real thing. Cartel violence is a real thing. MS-13 is a real thing. But, that's your brain on modern American liberalism. Like not like traditional liberalism, but like far leftism, where anything outside of America shouldn't be critiqued and everything in America should be like rigidly critiqued constantly. So
yeah, and of course, just given that you're watching a movie, you're not going to see everything going. I don't know, like they're going to highlight conflict. They're going to highlight crime. They're going to highlight drama. They're going to highlight death.
Well, it's what I say. It's like it's not about any type of prejudice. It's that the extremes make the most interesting stories.
Like if you watch a movie about a family, there's going to be family conflict, even though that doesn't affect every family. Surprise.
I don't remember who it was. Like I responded to Emma Vigland about something like this. I don't even remember what it was in regards to, but it was just that, as a whole, the most interesting stories will often be the most problematic, and that's okay.
Yeah, exactly. They also were very mad at the representation of trans identity in Emilia Perez, ironically, given that it was nominated for all of these Oscars for highlighting the trans experience.
Yeah.
It was Oscar bait in the first place, but they had to address the perception of Mexico in the movie. Yeah. Another leftist on Twitter said, "I'm going to say something people may not like. This is good," meaning Netflix distancing itself from Karla Gascon. "But can we have this same energy for everyone in the industry? It's very interesting to see how quickly Karla got punished in comparison to white male counterparts who do the same thing publicly and regularly. The director is right there saying some really weird things, but that's okay, I guess."
Is the director a white guy?
Jacques Audiard. He sounds French, so probably.
Give examples otherwise, and then you can work your magic to try and cancel them too, I guess. But
it's honestly, that response sounds so repetitive and redundant that maybe Karla Gascon is funding an opposing social media campaign to throw the director under the bus.
Just take everybody down with them.
Yeah, right? If I can't win the Oscar,
nobody can. Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.